Okay, America. Okay, America. Okay, America. Listen. America is a country that I've served for. I've literally had a gun pointed at me less than a foot from my face for this country. There was a time when we sang the song, I'm proud to be an American. We've come to a point now where the truth, and this is a place where we give truth and facts. This this country has always had its imperfections, right? Flat out wrongs in some things, right? It was founded by Europeans who had no regard for wherever they went and how they treated people. This is a video of truth. If you can't handle it, jump out now. Does it mean every European or every Anglo-Saxon is a bad person? No, just like it wouldn't for any other people. But the history says that in every land that these people went to, they disrespected the people that were already there. Instead of appreciating the help, right? The survival of the people who came here depended on the natives who was already here. And instead of appreciating that and respecting that and working with them and how they worked here, they tried to enslave them as they had done the African. And the Native American people refused that and to this day live on territories. More presently, there's a great shame in being an American in that it is told to us, it's not true, but it was told to us that we chose a leader and leadership that is so divisive, so perilous in its direction to give us division, to give us hate, to give us a superficial, very materialistic look at life, that it chose as its leader. And the lie to us is that we chose. We don't choose. We don't choose the president. It was founded, it was set up that you would never choose the president. The system is based on what's called delegates. How are those delegates elected? Do you even really know? Who are those delegates? And why is it in today's time every American citizen does not get to know who actually votes for you in the electorate? Who are the people who are literally, supposedly making these votes? That being said, we have today a person in leadership who I uh, respect from the standpoint in that he has been honest in his intentions. Right? I can respect someone who says, I hate you for whatever reason. I can respect someone who says, I'm here for the money. I can respect someone who says, my motives and my agenda will be based on what works for me. Our country has such a person who has been so literally every box that you would check for who you would want to lead you in any direction of any organization, family structure, etc. This person smashes those boxes and is literally the anti of them. There was a time when we chose leadership based on whether or not that leader led his own. There's a book that speaks in says that basically if you cannot handle your own home, if you cannot lead it, maintain it, and keep it, then you should not be attempting to lead any other or any others. We have at this time a president who, in every section of what we would consider a successful life, has failed. The only thing he has succeeded in is giving us an image of how to leverage debt, how to leverage relationships, business relationships, and power. He's done a wonderful job of that. He's failed in everything that he's ever attempted, yet his story to you is that he is a success. I love the fact that he insists upon saying he's a success, and in many ways people would look and say he's a success. Only from a materialistic standpoint. When it comes to holding a family together, he's failed multiple times. When it comes to being a person of character, he's on the Epstein file. That's a fact. He's in so many images of Epstein and hanging with him, and has said that he was his friend. And has been so close to him that it would literally be implausible for anybody with a brain to say that he did not know what Epstein did, that he was not an active participant in what Epstein did. Those would not be logical conclusions based on all of the evidence that we, the public, have seen, let alone what is actually available to the government. So you have a president at this point in time who we didn't have presidents before who were divorced, especially not multiple times. We didn't have presidents before who were convicted felons. We did not have presidents before who would cut bait on the people who were trying to be loyal to him, such as his right-hand man and attorney, allowing them to go face charges that he himself don't want to face. We've never had before a convicted felon as run for president, let alone make it. We've never had before someone who was so blatant and aggressive in their agenda to look out for the very few that they didn't even give the pretense of caring about the many. We have today a president whose entire family has no history, especially no recent history, none in the last 70 years, of serving this country in the military or in any capacity, that said that they care about this country enough to put their life on the line for it or make any sacrifices for it. We have a president who is standing now on an act that hurts a great number of people who've already been hurt. Medicare, Medicaid, education, parks and wildlife. There's a lot of departments. And here's the strange thing. A lot of people in those departments voted for this guy. There are farmers suffering, ranchers suffering right now that voted for this guy, as though they did not understand that when he talked about doing certain things, that was going to directly, adversely affect them. Sometimes people are so dogmatic in their prejudices that they don't see that the bullet will actually hit them. I show you a person in shame. I show you a person who cannot look. I don't want you to see his face or see anything for himself, because that seems to be the tenor of this country right now. What we have to have, what we have is a group of people who are willing to be violent. Never before have we had a country where the president supported a storm on the Capitol, right? Uh, and we've got a country now where we have the loud, the noisemakers. Wrong as they can be, but they're noisemakers. And we have those who know what's right to do that are being strong armed because they don't want to pay whatever political sacrifices or financial sacrifices to do what's right. Donald Trump, in many definitions, is not a Republican and definitely not a true Republican. This country, when it was allowed for a brief time to exercise in a more true republic, was a very vital, very strong country. It ceased, it backed off of its discrimination and racism enough to allow, for a very short time, when we think about the Black Wall Street, Oklahoma, we think about some areas where, okay, we didn't have integration, but what we did have is the allowance of, okay, just let them do them and we do us, and we won't stand in anybody's way, no, neither party. That worked so well that there were the loud ignorant, the sheet wearers, that said we can't allow it to happen because we're seeing a tremendous success here. And that success would bring unity of people, unity of minds. And so they burned down Black Wall Street. I digress a little bit. Let's my point here is that for many Americans, many of us who are veterans, many of us who have made sacrifices for this country, this is the look that we have when we think of what this country is doing right now. How the wealthy are literally showing us in our face, the few are showing us that literally they do not care about anything other than themselves. And what we have to do is not just murmur to ourselves or be silent. See, the problem is we let people bark and jump up at the fence while we sit silent, while we don't participate in the activity of saying there must be change. All of the good that has happened, right? If you believe that integration is good, if you believe that not just tolerance, but embracing one another's differences and saying, hey, let the good of every person be put in this pot and we work from there. If you believe that everyone is created with some good and some talents that we could all benefit from, and that if we give latitude and leeway to them being their best selves, we can be an awesome country and an awesome world and a great universe, then we can't just sit aside and allow silence or be passive in any way. Now is the time to be very active, politically very active, to say no. We will not be sold this bill of goods. We will not be lied to. And no way did we pick this guy. Right? This is not political parties. This is no real Republican can say Donald Trump matches the Republican agenda or the Republican mindset, which is that you build with your own bootstraps. You take responsibility for your actions. If you're welcome to be a capitalist and a business person, etc., but you do not go crying to the U.S. government to bail you out over and over for the mistakes you're making. And at the same time, we watch you ride around in Rolls Royces and live in golden palaces, while other people who took the same risk of business and adventure suffer in poverty are on the streets. We do not have or support a country where the welfare, true welfare, is billionaires flying into Washington and getting 7 and 8 and 9 figure checks because they're quote unquote too big to fail. And then those same people drive by homeless people and look down on them and say, oh, they're pathetic. Only because they aren't smart enough or haven't been in a position or had the audacity to ask the government to bail them out of their mistakes. How is it that when the quote unquote wealthy prosper and they're having 8, 9 figure, 10 figure wins, that they're not going to the government and saying, hey, we're prospering so well here. Take this from our pool because we're great. How can on the upside we the taxpayers don't get to share in that? But if they make a mistake, we get to share in them filing bankruptcies and maintaining their lifestyles. While many people will lose their jobs and find themselves homeless or struggling. I'm a U.S. veteran, and I got to admit, as of right now today, my thoughts about this country is unbelievable. The only good thing is when I went to fight for this country, I fought for everybody, and I wasn't closed-eyed to it. I knew that I was fighting for racists. I knew I was fighting for good people and bad people. I knew I was fighting for people who will stand up with me and people who would be happy to have me as neighbors, people who would be happy to have me as their friend. And I knew I was fighting for people who would never want me to be their neighbor, friend, etc. I was okay with that because I believe that you have a right to think what you think. You have a right to your opinion, you have a right to your way, and if it's your own money, your own property, you have a right to do what you want to on it. Right? Under the laws of our government. But this madness that we're dealing with now, the cowards that we have in Senate and in Congress who are and in robes who are letting this guy get away with this foolishness. Come on, people. We've got to be stronger than that. Right? If people can parade about sexuality, if they can parade about feeling like they have a right to be here and they came over here illegally, if people can get together and find unity of purpose and power to support these agendas that we have to be able to get together and say, hey, listen, let's get these cowards out of here. So, listen, midterm votes are up. People who are standing there with Trump, let's prove that no, we didn't vote for that. We didn't vote for that. We did not vote to see the masses suffer, to see the military suffer, to see our elderly suffer. People who have contributed 40, 50 years to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and get cut off of it. We didn't vote to let billionaires fly private planes into Washington, D.C. and get all kinds of money to bail them out and then turn around and tell a single mom or struggling dad or whatever that you got 6 months to get it together, get back on your feet, or you're out of there. Both of them are welfare. Just one of them is a lot more money to one person versus that same amount of money helping millions. Big O speaks. enough is enough. Let's make America great, period, by actually getting rid of the guy who's lying to us about how he's going to make it great again. We've got a long way to go to get to great. But there's a lot of great people in it. I believe in you. I don't, whether you like this video or not, support it because we need the truth. I'll accept your comments. I love comments and opinions. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's fine too. That's what America's about. But I dare anybody to say the leader we have is a leader or should be leading anybody, anywhere about anything. Big O speaks.